right. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me go ahead and turn my camera on. Let's see. There we go. Hi. Hello. My name is John Lipscomb. I am a senior trainer with Stellar MLS. And today, here in this late afternoon session, we're going to go over a brand new class called Connected Solutions for the Modern Real Estate Professional. Now, this class is slated to go from now until 5:30 p.m. And I have like the whole training team backing me up right now. So I feel like I'm backed up. Awesome. All right. Thank you to Gigi for putting in the course notes there. Good stuff. Everybody checking in. Awesome. Very cool. Let's get a couple things out of the way before we get into the material. First thing, you're all on mute and your cameras are off. So just watch me. That's it. I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm not going to mute myself because that would be weird. But no, you won't need to talk. You won't need to show your camera, all that stuff. You're good. And we have the course notes already in the chat, and you can grab a copy of those. And I'll also show you where you can go on stellarmls.com to get those as well. I do need to read the antitrust disclaimer here just to make sure we're all on the same page here. I think I'm going to use my official voice today. So, Stellar MLS is a for-profit corporation whose shareholders and members are engaged in similar businesses, and Stellar MLS provides services to such shareholders and members. Whenever such persons engage in similar businesses, gather women corporations provide services to similar businesses, there is a risk of antitrust liability or of the appearance of anti-competitive activity. Stellar MLS has adopted strict policies to avoid any such liability or appearances. Any departure from these policies could result in severe civil and criminal penalties used individuals, to your company, and to your association board and Stellar MLS. Basically, what that means is while we're here in this session, this special connected session, we're just here to learn MLS stuff today. That's it. We're not going to talk about anything else. We're just here to talk about MLS stuff today. All right. Couple things about the chat here. I see everybody saying hi. Hello, everybody. I'm not ignoring you. I just got 5 screens going right now. Hello. Now, we'll go over the attendance in a moment, but I do want to make sure that we're good with the chat and the Q&A and how this is going to be used. Now, we have a ton of people backing me up today. The whole training team, I think minus one person, is here in the chat and the Q&A. So if you have a question throughout the webinar, please put it in the Q&A, and then one of the backups will be able to answer it for you, okay? Now, let's test this out real quick. Let me know in the chat, where are you watching from? Some people have already put it in there, but let me know where you are. I am in the thriving metropolis of Davenport, Florida, here in Polk County. That's where I'm at. We have a brand new Waffle House, state-of-the-art, not even open yet. Well, we got Haines City next door to me, Daytona, Tampa, Salt Springs, Winter Gardens, Center, Oldsmar, Orlando, Altamont Springs, Tampa, Sun City Center. I was just in Tampa last night. Auburndale, love Auburndale, love Big Tom's, my favorite. The Villages, Valrico. Okay, you see how fast that chat moves? That was a trap. I wanted to show you how fast that chat can just fly by like crazy. So if you ask a question in the chat, it might get lost, it might get buried, because I'm going to ask you stuff and we're going to interact and do all kinds of stuff. So if I ask you a question, just like you just did, put it in the chat. If you have a question for us, put it in the Q&A and it'll get stuck on the screen, and then one of the other trainers will be able to get in there and get you an answer right there. Good stuff. All right, Haines City. Yeah, okay, very, very cool. All right, so there's the QA panel. You've probably done like a million Zoom calls over the last couple of years, so you're all used to this. Just use the Q&A, please, to keep things nice and organized when we're doing this session, because we have a ton of people in here. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get into the stuff. So I have a million screens open, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. I do want to show real quick where you get the course notes. Now, they put the course notes in the chat earlier, and I have a psychic suspicion that the course notes are going to end up in the chat again in a moment. They're going to end up in there in a second. But if you want to get a copy here on stellarmls.com, you know, the website you log into every day, if you go to the resources section and the document library, hey, look at that. Stellar MLS is a top place to work. It is. I love it. All right. Resources and document library right here. Yeah, that's okay. Hey, people watch these classes from all over the world, and that's fine too. And you'll go into the course notes right here, right? Course notes under the resource guides. All right. And then you're going to see the connected solutions for the real estate professional course notes. And you don't even need to follow along in this class, because in the course notes, and we're just talking about how everything is connected today. So I can open up the course notes here and you can get like the PDF version of this if you want to, in case maybe you miss a little step or something like that. But you'll see that this is going to be 23 pages of goodies to walk you through all the connected solutions for Stellar MLS and how they all talk to each other. Okay, we got stuff in here. We got screenshots and all the things. This is basically what I'll be presenting from. So you could go in and get your own copy of that if you want to. Thank you, Denise, for putting in the course notes again. So everybody just sit back and relax, and we're going to have a good time, okay? In the chat, did anybody notice the theme of the music? Let me know in the theme of the music. Every single song that was in the playlist before I started talking had like a similar word. Let me know in there in the chat if you picked up on that. If not, I'll give it to you. I'll give you a little cheat. Yes, getting connected. Yep, connected. There are a lot of cool songs that actually have the word connect or connection or connected in there. All right. So let's go ahead and get in there. I am going to shut my camera off because I don't want you to focus on me. I want you to focus on the screen. So let's go ahead and turn off the video and let's go. There we go. All right, so I've got so many screens here, so you have to excuse me a little bit because I am going to be like moving around a lot. All right, but let's go ahead and get in here. The PowerPoint part of this is going to be 59 slides worth of goodies-ish, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of live demonstration as well, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let me close out of some of these other windows. Go ahead and minimize you and minimize you. And here we go. All right. Okay, so Connected Solutions. You're all here for the badge, the special secret agent badge, because you're going to be amazing here. All right, so let's go ahead and get in here. Now, I already talked about this, muted. Your cameras are off, all the good things. I already went over the antitrust here. So we're going to go ahead and get in here with this. Now, the main three things that we're going to be talking about today is going to be MLS Touch and Prospects and One Home and Matrix. Basically, Matrix is like the connecting tissue. It's the main system that brings all three of these systems in this ecosystem together. So we're going to be talking about MLS Touch, which is a mobile app. Let me know in the chat, have you ever used the MLS Touch app before? Let me know in the chat, okay? And then we have Prospects. Now, Prospects is not an app. Prospects CRM is not something you install on your smartphone. This CRM, or Customer Relations Manager, is a desktop system. So you're not installing anything to get that going. That's something you'll log into right from Stellar Central. And then One Home is the portal. It's the place where your customers go in and look at the properties. And they can look in market favorites, and they can mark possibilities, or they can mark, they can discard properties. Sorry, they can mark favorites, or they can mark discards. They can leave notes on properties, and all this stuff goes back to you. We're going to cover all of that today. That is also not an app, but it is mobile friendly, okay? So the only actual app we're going to be talking about today, I'm going to be demonstrating this right on my phone, is going to be the MLS Touch app, okay? All right, so cycling through here. Moving on over here. Remember, Matrix is the connective tissue of everything right here. That's what brings it all together. Now, I would imagine, based on the poll results, that everybody's been into Matrix at least once. Please tell me you've been into Matrix before. Okay, because if you haven't, that's a whole other class. That's MLS Basic, right? Okay, all right. So you don't need to follow along. Remember, this is just an informational piece, okay? You can follow along if you want to, but really this is just to demonstrate how all of these things are tied together in a pretty profound way that it actually hasn't been like this forever. So we're going to talk about all this stuff here, all right? and it is 90 minutes. So we're going to go. We've already been talking for a couple minutes, but we're going to go ahead and do an hour and a half here. Yep, everybody's been in a matrix, figured. Okay, and here's what we're all here for. The Stellar MLS Super Agent Badge, which you'll be earning here if you attend the whole session. Okay, so a couple things about this. Do not leave halfway through, okay? You got to stay here for the whole session, okay? So here is how you qualify for the badge. And we're gonna walk through to make sure everybody's on the same page as far as how this badge is going to work today. So the badge, to qualify, you cannot miss more than 15 minutes. So the software, the Zoom software, does give us a report of when you connect, disconnect, and all that stuff. So you cannot miss a total of 15 minutes. Attendance will be processed within 2 business days. I'll probably do it tomorrow. And then after the attendance has been processed, you will receive an email with a link to download your badge. So you can take that badge, it'll be an image. You can display that with pride on your website, on your social media, in your email signature. You can make that your profile picture and and everybody will be jealous because you have the Stellar MLS Super Agent Badge and they don't, right? Pretty cool. All right. Now, resources. We already talked about the course notes. We are in the process of recording this class. So this session is being recorded. Roger, who's an amazing Stellar MLS trainer, along with the rest of my team, he'll probably actually do like an official recording, and that will be available soon. So if you want to go back in and revisit this material, you can go in and do that. Roger's actually on vacation right now. How dare he? But we'll get you a nice recording of that. And then we will have other classes with other opportunities to earn other badges in the future. So just keep an eye out for those. All right. All right. But we're going to get you your badge. All right. Now, you will see here in this class, here's the agenda. We're going to talk about the contact database and how that's shared across those different systems. We'll talk about an example customer workflow, like a real world scenario. You meet somebody in Publix, you meet somebody at Waffle House, and then you want to put them in your list. I will show you the easiest way to do that right from your phone. Integration Spotlight, contact maintenance. You can add all kinds of other additional information. That's going to be shared across the board because all of those systems sync up. All right. We'll talk about agent branding, how to get that going. Lead generation. Now, we do have a full lead generation tools class, which is one of my favorite classes to teach. It is all kinds of good branded stuff to get you collecting new people to work with. Let me know in the chat, has anybody in here taken the MLS lead generation tools class yet? Let me know in the chat because I love to teach that class. And we'll talk about setting up notifications. What? You haven't taken lead generation? Oh my God, you got to sign up for lead generation, right? So we'll talk about signing up for other classes later. That class is awesome. Maximize your Stellar MLS subscription. Get those new people to work with. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're gonna start off with this class, and this will be like to entice you to come in and take that full lead generation tools class, which is awesome. It's very cool, easy stuff you can do to put out there, get new buyers, get new sellers. It's gonna be great. Okay, look at my. Okay, everybody said, okay, you broke my heart. I was expecting a couple more yeses in there. Okay, we'll take care of you. Stellar MLS will take care of you because we love you. All right, we'll get you in that class. All right, contact database integration. So remember, you have your contacts in Matrix, and a lot of people just work from that list. That doesn't mean that the contacts in Matrix have to come from Matrix. They can actually come from Prospect, CRM, they can come from MLS Touch, and then those contacts, specifically those buyers, are then sent over to that one home portal to look at those properties. And everything is branded for you. Everything points people back to you, all right? So you can go in through the MLS Touch system and you can record your contacts. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. You can enter people either in the MLS Touch app, you can enter them into Prospects, you can enter them into Matrix, and it doesn't matter because your contacts are going to get synced across the board here. All right, so we're going to go into, we'll actually use like a real world scenario here because you're not always going to be able to whip out your laptop or tablet or log into Matrix real quick. You know, hold on a second. Let me break out my tablet and plug it in and all that stuff. It's not charged. Oh my God, I need to get in there. No. We'll show you how to do this very, very easily. Okay, so here is a workflow. Now we're going to demonstrate this a little bit live here in a moment. So maybe you're out in the field and you run into somebody, and I'm sure this has happened to you because you all like to show off with your badges and your realtor stickers and all that stuff. You want people to know that you are the real estate expert that they can go to and they can trust. And their friends can go to you and trust you, and their friends and coworkers and relatives. Everybody needs you to help them with all their real estate stuff. So maybe you go in through MLS Touch and you enter in a contact. That contact would then go into Matrix. You can then email them some properties from Matrix if you want to with their search criteria. And that, as you have them in Matrix, maybe you want to put in some other additional, more advanced information inside of prospects, like the sales stage and all that stuff there. When they go in and they start looking at the properties you send them in one home, that's going to start to feed back to you. So you're putting information into the system, and then what they do with the properties you send them is going to feed back to you. So it's kind of like a big loop here. It's very, very cool. You put stuff out there to them, they get stuff in here with you. You can set up notifications in Matrix. You can get all kinds of stuff. You can really be on top of what your customers are up to. It is going to be great. So I'm going to show you all that here in a bit. But this is an example of a workflow right there. All right. Hopefully we're not having any audio issues. Let me know in the chat. I'm pretty loud. Nobody ever accuses me of being quiet. So let me know how the audio is in the chat. I don't really know if I can make any adjustments, but yeah, we're all good. Okay, good. All right. So workflow. So here is the live demo part of this. All right, we're good. So in the chat, let me know, for those of you, because some people have been here like 20 years and you've been in real estate forever. Some people are new here. Let me know the weirdest place you have ever picked up a lead from. Let me know what was the weirdest, the Publix, the Walmart, the Waffle House, the Chili's, 2-for-1s, whatever. A cruise ship? Wow, a bathroom? Wow, okay. All right. A golf tournament. There we go. Women's bathroom, walking trail. You met somebody in the middle of the woods and you're putting them like, hey, by the way, a dating app? Oh my God. All right. So, wow, these are some awesome answers. On the beach, in the bank, on Facebook, camping, a doctor, a fallen sign on a sidewalk. Wow, a bar, a COVID shot. Hey, by the way, I'm getting my COVID vaccine. Are you into real estate? Hey, nice real estate tag. That is awesome. Playing Scrabble online. Okay, very, very cool. All right. So let's say that you are out in the field, you're in the middle of the woods, and you meet somebody and they see that you've got your real estate tag on because you're in full hiking gear, right? You're like in full hiking gear. You got like the little sticks you're walking with and everything. And then somebody knows, hey, you're in real estate. And then maybe they say, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house in, I don't know, Davenport, because Davenport apparently is amazing. So let's connect, right? So here's where I can go in. Instead of I don't have my laptop on me, I don't have my tablet on me, but I got my smartphone, right? This is where we can start putting people in through the MLS Touch app. And then that will feed into those other systems. Wow, this is so cool. All right, there we go. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pull up my phone real quick. So I'm gonna Alt-Tab into a million screens here. So where is my other screen? Hold on one second, sorry. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and share. By the way, a little caveat, I'm going to be sharing my actual phone. This is my real world device. I should be good, but if you see something weird pop up, you did not see it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this shared to my desktop here. So we're going to start off this very simple. We're going to go ahead and put in a contact here from my smartphone. Okay, so let me get my little code here. Hold on one second. Sorry for the delay. Too many screens. All right. And we're going to bring you over here and should pop up in a second. And there we go. Okay. So let's bring you back up there and let's bring you on over there. Look at that modern technology. Okay. So we are out in the middle of the woods. We meet somebody and we don't want to have to wait. So we are going to go into the MLS Touch app when you're out in the field. This is like the perfect contact entry screen when you are out in the field with your phone, because just with a couple clicks, you can get somebody into your database. All right. So I go in here and I do this and I open up MLS Touch. Yes, that's Oogie. That's my dog. I'm going to tap on MLS Touch and I'm going to open it up here. Okay. Now, there's a little bit of a delay on my screen, so it'll come up in a moment. I hope. There it goes. All right, so it's a couple seconds. All right, and I open up the MLS Touch. Now, we have a whole mobile tools class. We have a whole class on how to use the MLS Touch app and do searches and all that stuff here. And we're going to be in and out of this app a couple times today. I'll be dragging this on or off my screen a couple times. But let's just say we want to get somebody out in our list here. Super duper easy. Down at the bottom, you're going to see contacts here in the app right here, okay? All right. And when you open up right here, contacts, doesn't make that sound effect. That's me, by the way. And when you open up contacts here, you're going to see some familiar faces because when you open up contacts, this is going to bring up your contact list from Matrix. Okay. So I'm not worried about this because remember, all of these systems sync up. So maybe I put these people in Matrix. Maybe I put them in through the prospect system or whatever. I could put in leads if I want to, but let's just pretend we don't have anybody. Up at the very, very top right, there's going to be add right here. So when I tap on add, here's where I can just add somebody real quick right from my phone. And they're going to end up in Matrix and they're going to end up in prospects. So I could tap on add and create new. So create new would be I'm creating one from scratch, or it'll say import from your contact list on your device. I'm going to do create new because I don't know this person. I just met them in the middle of the woods. And here's where I could put in their information. I could put in their first name. So we could say this person's name is, let's say Artie, right? Artie, Mr. Artie Waffle, right? We're going to put in Artie Waffle here. And I could add in their email. I could add in their phone number here. Okay, so we could do waffle man at waffles.com. And I can add that person into my list right here. Now, obviously, I'm adding a fake person in here, but I can also add in some additional emails, their phone number, their address. I could specify their language, English or Spanish if I want to, job title, company, and I'm going to start to see some of these fields in some of these other systems. Now, a lot of times when you meet somebody, you know, at the Starbucks or Publix or Target or in the middle of the woods, maybe you don't have enough time to gather all their life history here, but what I can do is I can add in just the basic information. Remember, first name, last name, email address is required for Matrix, so that's what we're aiming for here. First name, last name, email address, and then I can click on save. And then boom, now I have this person here in my list. Okay. In this case with the MLS Touch app, this is something you can install from your Google Play Store or your App Store. So this would be something you would download from your mobile app store here, the MLS Touch app. Okay. Yep. MLS Touch. All right, now we're going to see this a little bit later, but notice how when I'm looking at this here, favorites, discards, messages, listings I've sent, properties in their card, sharing the app, sales stage, all this stuff right here. I got all this information. Now I can edit it here further later on. I can edit it in Matrix. I can edit it in Prospects, and all these systems are going to gonna show up there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to drag this off my screen. So we just put that person in our list right here. All right. And now I'm going to Alt Tab and we're going to move on over here into the MLS. So let's go ahead and get going here. Okay. So now Mr. Waffle here should be in my Matrix list, right? So I can go in here into Matrix. I'm going to go ahead and open up Matrix right here. Now, I'm going to show you how this contact ended up in Matrix, but we're actually going to use somebody I already have set up with some stuff going on to kind of show you I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but I can go in here and now I can go into my Matrix and contacts right here. And when I go in here, it may take a moment, but here he is, Artie Waffle, right? Artie Waffle, Waffle Man at waffles.com. So I can go in there and I could see that person if I want to. And once again, I can go in, open their information up here. I can edit them. I can opt them in to see if I could text them properties. I would see all their activity and all this stuff here. Now, we don't really have anything going on for Artie yet. By the way, Artie, I'm co-opting your name because you have an awesome name. But we can go and see all that stuff in one place right here, okay? So when you first get somebody in the list, not really much going on yet, right? I'm going to go ahead and edit this. Now, remember, this is the entry screen that you've seen a million times when you put contacts in a matrix, but now we can see all this stuff right here. And we can see that we put this in from our phone, from the mobile app right there. Okay, pretty neat right there. All right, so I got my contact in. Now, what I can do here with this is I can go in and I can move on over here, and maybe I want to send them an email. Maybe I want to send them some properties here. I'm going to do a very quick search, and I'm going to use my fake customer that I already have set up prior, and I'm going to shoot them an email, okay? Now, this part, you already know, you've probably done this a million times, but I want to show the relationship and the process and the workflow of getting this stuff out. So step one, put somebody in real easy from my app. Now I want to take it a step further now that they're in Matrix. Now I've had a chance to have a conversation with them, and I can go in, put in their stuff here. I can let them, I can go in and put in whatever they're looking for. So let me go ahead and bring that up one more time. Like I said, sorry for the delay. I got like 5 million screens open right now, but let's go ahead and get this thing open again. There we go. So let's say we do a search, and I'm going to do this very, very quickly because we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but let's just put in some basic criteria here. So when I go in and I do this here, I'm going to put in some criteria, some basic stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Okay, so I go in here and I'm going to do a search. Very basic. I would imagine everybody in here has done a search before. We'll put in some basic stuff, active, residential search. Let's go over into 34203 into the Bradenton area. Let's go ahead and get them a single family home. I met them in the middle of the woods, and they want to buy a home because they're sick of living in the woods. And I'm going to put in some prices here. Let's just say 475 to 500. They've saved a lot of money by living in the woods, so we'll put that stuff in there. They want a bunch of bedrooms here, for their woodland animal friends. And let's say they need a lot of bathrooms here as well. So we'll put that in there. We're just going to get a couple properties. Boom, 12. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to results right here. I'm not going to get too crazy with this because I'm going to fast forward through the searching part because you already know this part. I'm going to go here under the results, and I'm going to go ahead and just email them. I'm going to say, okay, here you go, Artie Waffle. I'm going to go ahead and grab these properties, and I'm just going to do a single email. Now, obviously, you could take this a step further and set up an auto email for them, get them going. But just for the sake of class, we're going to do like a little one-time email right here. So I'm going to click on email, and I'm going to go ahead and send this off. Now, I'm going to send it to my fake customer here, which is Stellar, which is my fake customer right there. And we're going to say, this is for you and your woodland friends, right? Let me know if you have any questions, blah, 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 blah. And here's where I can go in. I could BCC myself a copy, CC somebody else. I can text them if I've opted them into the texting. I could specify their language. Okay, don't forget that you can do that. Remember, you can do this on the portal. You can do this in Matrix. You can do all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send this out to them. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Send. And let me check on the chat and the Q&A to make sure nothing's on fire. Okay, remember I have to wait a gazillion screens here. Okay. All right, this system is not going to integrate with any other system. This is an internal system. You may be able to manually import and export out of here into some other systems, but it's not really going to sync up with some external CRMs, right? All right, so we went and we just sent that email out to them. All right. And has anybody in here in the chat ever emailed yourself? Right? You ever email some properties to yourself to play around with that? Okay. Yeah, that's how you learn it, right? Okay. All right. Now, what happens on the other end? Okay, now we're going to skip over into my fake customer that I already have set up here. And let's talk about the relationship right here. Yeah, send it to your family, send it to all that stuff right here. Okay. And we will be back in the app a little bit later. So if I need to kind of circle back around for that, I can do that for you. No problem. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my inbox right here. Okay. All right. So now we're starting to see this workflow kick off, right? Starting to see this workflow kick off. Now I can go in right here and I've got this email right here, right? Okay, now I'm gonna let this email simmer for a little bit, you know, because Artie Waffles out in the woods, he's hanging out, getting some campfire wood or something like that with his woodland friends. So let's pretend that there's a little bit of a delay here. Okay, now what else can we do with this contact? Okay, if you want to go a little deeper when it comes to the contact list, you want to start to utilize some of those prospects feature, you want to start putting in some more advanced information, maybe getting them going on like an email drip campaign, something like that. You can do that if you want to. So I'm going to go back here. Now, remember, you don't have to follow along with me step by step. This is just to show that connecting tissue on how these things talk to each other. Okay, so back here on Stellar Central, I'm going to go ahead and open up products and services right here. Okay. And remember, you don't have to follow along. This is kind of like happening like simultaneously with me maybe sending the email out. Now, this part's optional. I can go here to products and services, and you're going to see at the top that one of your core products here, right in this top section under products and services. Remember, if you're on a smaller screen, it may be squished into like a little menu button up here. Okay, but when I go in there, all right, I just closed it. We need that screen. Please don't tell me I just closed that window. There it is. Okay, I was worried about that. So when we go in here, we can open up prospects. Now, how many of you in the chat have ever wandered into prospects? We have a whole class on Intro to Prospect CRM. This is a fully featured CRM system that you get as part of your subscription to the MLS. Okay, we've got a bunch of people in here, okay? Now, prospects is something, you know, it's kind of I wouldn't say it's like an advanced thing, but it's maybe not something that everybody uses. But let's go into prospects and let's take a look. So I'm going to go into prospects here. And what I'm looking for here is my contact list. Now, remember, we have a whole class on all this other stuff, but let's take a look for Artie in our contact list right here. Because in the contacts, I can go in here and I'm going to see my list of folks. It'll take a moment to load, right? Here's Artie Waffle right here, okay? Now, once again, I could add somebody from this list if I want to. So I could add somebody just like I just did from the app here, right? Or when I go in and I double click on Artie, even though I added them in another system, here's where I can start to put in more information here. Job title, spouse, phone numbers, emails, websites, sales stage. Remember, I can label this contact with one of these sales stages, and this might kick off some of those email drip campaigns or some automation here inside of prospects. So I could say, you know, this person's unqualified lead, qualified lead, or whatever, and that may be something I use to trigger some automation to follow up with them or do whatever I need to do later on here. I can also go in and I can put in their addresses. I can put in keywords. So I can put the additional keyword label on here if I want to. You know, what are they? Are they a Ghostbuster? Are they somebody that needs to get a holiday card from me? Are they a bioexorcist, a contractor, or whatever? I can add them in here if I want to do that. And that's going to let me sort later on. I can also put in some notes for them here. I can also put important dates for them, their birthdays, anniversaries, transaction anniversary. You might not be doing all this right now, but this is something that I can use to help me with this automation later on right here, okay? Now, keep in mind, I got my additional fields. I can put in their pet names or something like that if I want to. If I want to get in here a little bit later, you do have the ability to put in all kinds of stuff. So we'll touch on that a little bit later, okay? All right. This is if you want to record more information, if you're going to be utilizing the Prospect CRM system to set up some of this automation for you, okay? Let's get back to what they see. All right, so here's them. How do you get all that information from people? You ask them. You know, hey, as you start to get to know this person, you start to have more conversations, you're going to add more and more data in there. You have to start off with the first name, last name, and email address. And there might be some people where that's really all you end up with, but you also may get more information from other people, their significant other, their kids' names, their dates, their anniversaries, their pets' names. That's stuff that I can go in and I can do that right there. Okay. All right. So let me scoot this over here. There we go. All right, save that search right there. Talked about how we can get that. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move on over here. We talked about prospects. So now let's talk about what they see. Let's talk about like their interaction here and how that connected tissue feeds back to us inside of the Matrix system, okay? So when you set them up on a search, whether this just be if this is just a single email where you just send them out a bunch of properties, here you go, take a look, or if you set them up on an auto email, they're going to end up on the One Home portal, okay? One way to play with this is if you've never ever gone in through the One Home portal, make sure you have yourself in your own contact list and email yourself some properties. Sounds like most of you have already done that before, and now they're going to be utilizing One Home, okay? All right, so let's get back to that email here. All right, and that one, there we go. Okay, so we're in our email here, and here's the email they get. They get this email from you. It's got this right here. It's got the welcome right here. Now, this is somebody I already had in here that was like an existing contact. The initial email will say welcome and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and click on view listings. They're all going to end up in the same place anyways. And when they click on view listings, this right here is going to take them in like this. So they will be taken to the portal page. Now, everything on here is going to be branded for you. You are the only agent they're ever going to see when they're looking at the properties here. Now, it's got your branding, and we'll talk a little bit about the branding a little bit later, but they got like a little tutorial they can look at. And now they're looking at properties here. Okay. Now they can go in and look at this. Now, this is not reinventing the wheel. If you've been to a real estate website in the last 5 years, it's got a nice interface where they can go in, look at the properties, see open house information. They can go in and look at the pictures here. So let's get into a listing just real quick. And I'm going to do a couple things here. So they can go in, they can see this. Now the open house information will be routed through you. Like, hey, take me to this open house. They can look at the pictures and they can do all this stuff. Okay. Now, when they're in here, if they've never ever been in here before, they can look at the properties all day. They can look at the properties. They can do all the basic view things here. But if they want to go in and they want to mark favorites, if they want to mark discards, if they want to request a tour, if they want to add a note, it is going to very gently ask them to make an account, right? So it will ask them to make an account with One Home, okay? Now, we usually somebody asks about this, like, well, oh my God, the One Home system is going to have their information now. Like, how is that used? Well, remember, when every product, any third party or vendor that we work with, when they sign an agreement with Stellar, part of the agreement is your data belongs to you. So you don't have to worry about the privacy or anything. Remember, this data is between you and your customer. This is just a tool that they can go in to interact with these properties, and they can have a back and forth with you right here. So please do not worry about that. All right. I know people freak out about privacy and all that stuff, but with Stellar, you don't really need to worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click out of this one right here. So they can go in here and look at all the stuff here, play with it. But when they do make an account, here's where things are going to start to kind of show off and be really neat here. So they're going to go in here, they're going to log in. Here's what it looks like when they actually log in. They will have like a little account here. They're going to see your information just like we saw a moment ago. And now it's going to start to open up a couple more tools here. They can go in and they can start to mark favorites. They can mark discards. I like this property. I don't like this property. Not for you. It'll take it off the list right there if they want to. They can go in. They can see all the information here. They see all of your branding here, right? All this color scheme, all this stuff here, your social media links. We'll talk about setting that up a little bit later. They can request a tour. That's going to go to you. So when do they want to go? Let's say they want to go tomorrow. They want to go today. Here's the time that would then be emailed to you. They can add notes to properties if they want to. So let's say they really like this one right here and they want to add a note. Maybe they have a question about the property. Like, is this near a Waffle House? I mean, obviously that's very important, to some people, not just me. And they can add a note here. Now, what's really cool about this is any of these interactions here, the favorites, the discards, the notes, the tours, or the stuff that they do here, even if they go in and they start like doing their own searches and saving their own searches and stuff, this is all going to feed back to you inside of Matrix. And you're still going to see this information reflect even in like the MLS Touch app. You're going to start to see this information. Remember, this is all about that connective tissue that's tying all of these systems together right here. Okay, pretty cool. All right. Now, keep in mind, I showed this from the desktop view, but that doesn't mean that this can be done here from can't be done from the desktop view right here. So when I go in right here, it'll take a moment to update on my phone, but I can go in and I can see this right here. Come on. Come on. Hold on one second. How are you notified? That's a good question. Okay, hold on one second. My thing just, there we go. Sorry, I just got an iPhone 14 Pro. I'm still getting used to it. So we go in here, we see this. They can still go in even on their device if they want to. Now remember, One Home is not an app. One Home is mobile friendly. So they can go in and they can see the property information. It's all laid out nicely on a mobile device. And what's cool about this is if they do go in and they make an account, they can actually log in here on their own if they want to. And One Home is invite only. So this isn't something that everybody has access to. This is just between you and your specially invited customers, right? Your buyers and things like that right here. Now, once again, if they go in here and they mark favorites on properties or they do that, once again, that's still going to feed back to you inside of those other systems here. Okay. Pretty cool. All right. So I already went over the desktop view here. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. That's the mobile view, right? Desktop view. We already talked about that. So remember, all of this is integrated. All of this is integrated right here. When you are working with a buyer, you can put them in through MLS Touch. They can look at properties. You can send them properties through MLS Touch, or you can send them properties through Matrix. You can tie them to properties and prospects, which we'll talk about a little bit later here. And how is this going to feed back to you inside of the system, right? How are you going to see this stuff right here? So let's say that they went in and they marked a property as a favorite. All right, how are we going to see this stuff inside of Matrix? Let's go back on over to Matrix here, okay? So Matrix, if they've gone in and they've done stuff here, let me go ahead and go back to Matrix. And here we see, this is my fake customer right here. They just went in a little while ago and they've been marking some favorites and they've been leaving me some notes on some properties here, okay? So when I click on the note here, and I can do this for my contact record, but I'll show it to you from here because the widget's usually where most people go in. But they can see the properties right here. They've got a little notes function right here. And I can add a note back. Is this near a Waffle House? This is 3 miles away from the closest WH, which is what the cool people call Waffle House. So I'm going to add a note here with this one, okay? Now, this is one of the actions that they can take with the properties. You can respond here, okay? If you respond to the note, notice how it timestamps it right here for them. Well, if I leave a note back on this property, how are they going to get this note back? Well, back here on One Home, I'm going to go ahead and refresh my screen here. I should see a little notification thing that's going to let me know, hey, my agent has responded here. So it might take a moment. Okay, see the little bell up here? Usually when you see a bell, it means a notification, right? So they can go up here and they can look at the note that I just left here. Oh, they just left me a note a moment ago. Cool. I can do that. And I click on it. Now, this is one way to leave notes back and forth. You can also do this through the MLS touches as well. And here we see the timestamp conversation. They can respond to that note. Not everybody's going to use this. Some people might just call you or text you or email you and then send the note that way. But I really like having an open line of communication between myself and the buyer here, which is really, really neat. Okay. All right. Let me make sure. Does the client get an email for the notes that we respond to? In this case, it would go directly through the portal here into that. Okay. All right. All right. So let's see what we got here. So how do you see this inside of Matrix? How do you get these? How do you get these notifications when these things happen here? So let's switch back over to Matrix now. Okay. Too many screens. There we go. All right. And here's where we can also see this. If you go into the contact record of that person, you can see their favorites. If you click on their name here, you can see their favorites. You can see their discards. You can see their notes right here if you want to. Okay. You can also see if they've gone in and their activity right here. See, I could see their one home activity. Now remember, this is in Matrix. All of this is connective tissue, what they're doing, how this is connected here. Pretty cool, right? I can see which properties they were looking at, if they did any searches, all that stuff right there. Pretty neat right there. I can see this here. Now, remember, you do have the ability to set up notifications, portal notifications, when these things happen. So while we're here, and I might be skipping ahead a little bit, I feel like this is a good juncture. Let's go ahead and click on my name up here. How many of you in the chat, let me know, how many of you have your portal notifications set up? How many of you have portal notifications set up here? Yes, I would like some waffles. Okay, so I'm seeing some yeses here and I'm seeing some no's. All right, so some of you have probably been in some classes before. We've shown this to you, right? We want to get notified when certain things are happening, right? So when you go into your name at the very, very top right of Matrix, and you go down here into settings here inside of Matrix, right? Clicking on that. Now I can see portal notification. It says portal notification settings right here. And this is the list of triggers that you can set up to notify you when certain things happen. How cool is that? So I'm going to go ahead and open this up right here. Name, settings, and portal notification settings right here. So I can click on that. And now we're going to start to see some familiar things, right? When they marked a favorite, maybe they go in later on and take that favorite off the list. Maybe they discard a listing. Maybe afterwards they undiscard a listing. Maybe they add a note here for the property. And it's got a couple other triggers for when they visit their portal, or at least when they visit the portal the first time. You decide what is important to you. When your customers do certain things, how do you want to get notified? Do I want to get an email when these things happen? You don't have to do everything. You just do what's important to you. Do I want to get a text message when certain things happen? Maybe I want a little bit more immediate type hands-on stuff. Or do I just want to get a daily summary report in my email of what my customer's general activity is? That is up to you. You can use any of these in any combination. Couple things to note here, though, is these portal notification settings, these are a global setting for all of your customers. So what you choose here is going to apply to everybody. You can't individualize this per person. And another thing to notice is in the texting option here. Well, obviously, if it's going to text you, it needs to know where to go. This system is going to be sending automated texts. So just like when you set yourself up or set your customers up on an auto email, or you text them stuff or whatever, here, this system is going to ask you to put in your provider information, and then the system will text you if it's okay to send you automated texts here. This is kind of like your version of that opt-in that you send to your customers here. So you put in your phone number, you put in your provider. I've got T-Maybe. So you put in your provider right there, you put in your phone number, and it will send you a verification code to get that going right here, okay? Pretty cool. Portal notifications are extremely powerful because you are now getting an immediate notification when certain things are happening. We do get some concerns about like how many texts is this thing going to do? Is it going to blow up my phone? The maximum text it's going to send out is going to be 1 every 10 minutes. So 6 per hour per customer. All right. You never knew that, Krista? Well, there you go. Changing lives all day long. Okay. Pretty cool. I know, right? Learning just the littlest things to make your life easier. That's what we're here for. All right. All right. What else do we got here? Okay. So we go in, we look at this right here. Now, we also have the ability to put properties into carts as well. So I'll show that real quick. Let's say that I want to bookmark a property for a customer. They want this specific property. I need to hold on to this property just in case they want to show it or something like that. So when you go into your contact list here, let's say we just want to bookmark a property so it stays there no matter what. So if I go in here and let's say they marked a favorite, remember this is going to be their favorites right here, all their stuff. Well, I'm just going to pick a random property here. All right. And let's say this one right here, this Holly Hill Estates one, Ashford. Well, one of the options you have is carts. Carts is the ability to set properties aside so you can bookmark them and pull those properties up later on. These carts are retrievable from MLS Touch. So what's the difference between saving a search and a cart? Well, if you save a search with the property, remember that property may change statuses. It may fall off that list. But what if I want to just hold on to that exact property? You have the ability to specify a property, put it in a cart here. So you select it. Down below, you have carts. Every one of your contacts automatically gets a cart to put the properties into. You do not have to set anything up. Now, you might say, what about me? Well, you know, I know that Amanda O'Neill in here is wondering, oh my God, what if I want a cart, right? What if I want to put properties in a cart for me? Well, if you put yourself in your own contact list, you get a cart. Yeah, everybody gets a cart. It's like Oprah, right? Everybody gets one. So you select it right here. Down below, you go down to carts, and you can do this for showings. You can do this for CMA, comparables, whatever you want. Set a property site. It's kind of like shopping online or shopping at Target or Publix or whatever. You select the property down below carts. Everybody gets a cart automatically. So here's my Billy Buyer cart. Notice how it says 5 things in there already. I'm going to add one more, and I'm going to add it to the cart. Boom. Now, carts are accessible from different places, right? So I can go in here. I can go in through the app right here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Billy Buyer. So give it a second here to open up. Now I can open up here. Notice how it says carts, right? Here's the favorites, discards, messages right from here. Pretty cool. I'm going to open up carts. And here's my new cart. Right? Here's my cross property. I just set that one in, and I could pull that property up right from the app. How cool is that, right? So I can go in, I could see the property here. It's probably going to be at the bottom here. Here it is, that Ashford property down at the bottom right here. And I can open this up. So even if I bookmark that property, if I'm out with my customer in the field, maybe I'm bookmarking, I'm putting the properties in the cart that they want to see. And I'm saying, all right, here's the ones. Oh, this one went pending. We're not going to go to that one or whatever. We can look at that property from there. These things, I know, right? It's very cool to bookmark things and be able to pull this stuff up from your phone, okay? Now, you're inevitably going to ask me, hey, that's cool, John. How do I get a property out of a cart? Well, when I go in here, when I select it here, I can remove it from within the cart. So back here in Matrix, if I open up cart right here, I can view it. You have to be inside the cart in order to take something out. So you're doing the reverse. Think of it like when you're shopping. You put stuff in a shopping cart when you want to buy it. If you change your mind, you have to reach into that cart again and you got to pull it out. So if I'm viewing the cart, this is going to allow me here to remove it from the cart. It only lets you remove things from within the cart, which should make a lot of sense, right? So I can see that here in the mobile app. I could see that in MLS Touch. Oops. So I could see that right there. And I've got some actions and things that I can do with the cart right here. I could delete the cart and do with some other things if I want to. And I can remove the listing from the cart right here as well. So once again, you could do this from Matrix. You could do this from MLS Touch if you want to do either right there. Okay. Notice how it's got all these different actions here because all these things talk to each other. Okay, let me drag that off right there. Now remember back here in my Matrix, just on the home page right here, you do have a widget for carts. So if you want to bookmark those properties, they're going to be in your little widget, your cart here, and I can open them up from there if I want to. Or if I go up to my Matrix, I also have the ability to go into my carts from here if I want to. Okay. So since he was already in Billy Buyer, when he selected a property to put in the cart, because when you do a search inside of the system here, the cart list is based on all of your contacts because you can move properties from one cart to another, so it doesn't default you back into an individual's cart. That is kind of a weird workflow, but I think it's just so you can have multiple carts working at the same time. Yeah. All right. So in the chat, I'm going to stop for a moment. Okay. So we're like an hour in here. Still got a bunch of stuff to show, but how are we doing so far? How are we doing so far with all this? Everybody good? Everybody learning stuff? Oh man, John's falling asleep. I'm sorry. I could get louder. Man, falling asleep. Are you falling asleep because it's the end of the day or because I'm boring? Jeez, that was mean. All right. Very cool. All right. So let's get back in here. Go back into the go back in here and do the things. Get back in here. I got like 5 windows opened up here. So we want you. There we go. All right. All right. So we talked about that one right there. So prospects right there. Okay. So we talked about One Home, how this is integrated. Now we're stop a moment for recap. Seems like we're good. We talked about putting things in. You can enter contacts in through Touch. You can enter contacts in through Matrix. You can enter contacts in through prospects. All of these talk to each other. We're all good with this one right here. Yep. All right. It's a lot to learn, but you'll learn it by getting your hands on it. Okay, getting your hands on it. Treat yourself like a customer. Get yourself in this list. Make up a fictitious customer. Go and make a fake Gmail account or something like that. That'll make things a lot easier. Okay. All right. These 3 things talk to each other. So we've gone in. We've looked at all these things right here. Talked about how Matrix talks to MLS Touch. Talked about how MLS Touch talks to these other systems right here. All right. Agent searches. So if you save a search, remember that is going to be accessible through Matrix and MLS Touch. So I pointed that out earlier. You can get into those searches, run those searches from the MLS Touch app if you want to. Okay? As a matter of fact, I'll show that real quick while we got it up here right here. Let me move this real quick. All right. So back here, remember your save searches do exist here in this system here. So you do have, I'll take a moment to update here on my screen. All right. Fresh waffles. All right. Come on. I don't know why this is taking so long here. Hold on. Come on, wake up. Come on. Sorry, my screen's stuck. There we go. Okay. Just took a moment. I'm like 30 seconds behind here on the screen. Okay, so you'll see your save searches here. So remember, if you do save searches here, this is something where it's also going to be integrated. So I can, if I do searches on the MLS Touch app and save them, which we talk about in the class, I can see them right here. Come on. There we go. Come on, save searches. All right. There's a long delay here. Okay. Save searches. Don't want to stop mirroring. Come on. Come on now. I only got half an hour. Back up. Save searches. Open it up. Anyway, save searches here. Come on. Let me give it like 2 more seconds or I'll just talk around it. All right. So when you're in the MLS Touch here, I don't know why this app is misbehaving. It's on my screen, but it's not on the computer screen. There it goes. So you will see that you have your app searches that you saved and you're also your matrix searches as well. So that is something that I can pull up if I need to and look at those properties and then do the carts and the favorites and all that stuff if I want to right there. Okay. Pretty neat. All right. Let's go ahead and get this off the screen. All right. Talked about that right there. We talked about carts. Talked about how to go and do that. Now, remember, your carts are available when you go into the individual contact here inside of the MLS Touch app. So when I open up contacts here and I open up the individual here, I pointed this out earlier, but now that we've actually looked at carts, if my mobile app is going to continue to hang, I'll just talk around it. But when you open up an individual contact inside the MLS Touch app, you can also open up the carts from there. All right, so let's just go ahead and do that because my screen's dragging right there. All right, so we talked about that right there. Now, keep in mind when you put people into contacts, you can add in those keywords, greetings, dates, all that stuff. One of the things that you're going to want to keep in mind when you are working in that system here, when you're working inside of prospects, is when you go into an individual here, all right, you may not see everybody right away. Like some of you have been in the industry a long time and maybe you have more than 20 contacts. If you don't see everybody right away, click on all and it will expand everybody for you. All right. If you wanted to do it that way. All right. So I can go in here through Billy Buyer. A couple other things that I can do right here with this is I can go in and I can add other things. Keep in mind, because this is our CRM system, we've mainly been talking about these folks as buyers. There may be some people in your sphere or people that you have as go-to that aren't necessarily buyers. You may have some people that you may have in your CRM system here that are not necessarily buyers. This checkbox right here where it says send to remote applications, this is going to be that sync button. But if there are some people that are in your list here that aren't necessarily buyers, you may turn that off so it doesn't sync up with the other things because you don't really need to have those people in Matrix or the MLS Touch app. Somebody in the chat, give me an example of why you would have a contact in your list here, but that's not something you would want in Matrix or in the MLS Touch app. Okay, give me an example. Okay, an inspector, good example here, right? I have maybe a family member, maybe a contractor, maybe a mortgage lender, maybe a vendor. Yeah, you have the right idea. So I may have other people in here. Okay, kind of neat. So that's going to come up a little bit later. All right, so let's talk about the branding. So this is something I'm going to give you a little bit of homework here because the branding is something you're going to want to set up because you have the default branding set up for you through the system, but you're going to want to make sure that you go in and really customize it here. All right. So with your company logo and brand colors, because remember, whenever you're sending things out, you want to make sure that everything is going to be synced up for your office, company color, logos, your pictures, all that stuff here. So you are responsible for ensuring that you have the permission to use any trademarked logos or branding. If in doubt, contact your broker or the authorized representative, office manager. Make sure you can use that specific logo for your office. Okay, don't want you to get into trouble here. Okay. All right. All right. Company logo and brand colors. Now, these can be set up in the MLS Touch system or prospects. So you're going to see a little overlap here. So when it comes to making sure that things that you send out are branded color-wise and logo-wise, you can go in here. And in the MLS Touch app, you can do this a couple different ways. All right. So I can go into the MLS Touch. I'm going to go ahead and just bring that one back up here. I'll bring up my phone again. I'm kind of hesitant because my phone's really lagging here. Maybe this will get better. Okay. So in the app here, let me try this. Let's stop mirroring and I'll try it again. One moment. Yeah, I've never really had that happen before. That was weird. All right, let me try to reconnect with my screen mirroring to see if this will go a little faster. Okay. All right, let me try to connect one more time. It was working great in the beginning. All right, so there's that. Okay, so we're back up now. Bring you on over here. Here we go. Okay, all right. That seems a little more responsive. Okay, there we go. So the company color, the brand logos, and all this stuff in the MLS Touch app, you're going to go down here to the More option, down at the very, very bottom of your right. Now, remember, you don't have to do this right this second. This is kind of like some homework for you to go in here. So I'm going to tap on More, and then you're going to see that you have your Brand and Share option right here. Brand and Share. This is where you can not only brand the app to make sure it has all your appropriate branding, but you can also share the app if you want to. So I'm going to tap this. It'll walk you through a little tutorial here for it. All right. So I'm going to hit continue. And then we've got right here, when you get through that, you're going to see that it will allow you to put in your logo up here. So I put the Stellar MLS logo. I selected this from my device. So you're going to have a copy in your camera roll here. You can pick your color scheme if you want to. You can set some presets and that kind of thing. I'm not going to get into the presets, but get your company colors in there basically. I can click on preview just to see what it's going to look like. Let's say in the mobile app here. One of the things that you're going to learn in the mobile tools class or the MLS Touch class is you do have the ability to share this app with your customers. And this is what the customer interface would look like, the MLS client app. So this is how it would be branded for your company and for you right there. Okay. Pretty seamless. And then you got share down below where you can share that app if you want to. Okay. All right. So we got that one right there. You can get that stuff in there if you want to. Phone's still lagging. Thanks a lot, phone. All right. Also have the ability to set this up in prospects as well. So we have the ability to go in and set up the branding through prospects. Either or you can do that. The course notes have the step-by-step instructions. You've got those if you wanted to use those as well. Okay. So I can go in here. I could do this in prospects. So let's go ahead and get over back into prospects. I'm just going to do this real quick. Oops, sorry. There we go. So in prospects, all the settings are going to be found here under the gear up here. So I can click on that. And in the gear, what we're going to be looking for is going to be the gear up here. Okay, so that's where you're going to start. All right. And then you'll see that we have the customization right here. So gear customization. And in the customization, here's where I can have my logo here. So I can also set it up here. So it really depends on what you're more comfortable with. I could set this up in prospects. I could set this up in MLS Touch if you want to. You can get your logo in there. You can upload your images in here. Maybe you want like a fancy picture like this of you in a tie, something like that. You can go in and upload that if you want to. Okay, I'm not going to mess with mine, but you can do that if you want to right there. All right. And then here under the emails option, this is where I can set up and modify my email signature from prospects. So if I am going to be utilizing some of that automation, I have the ability to make sure that I'm always using the same email signature with anything that's going to be emailed outside of this system right here. Okay. And then just remember with the One Home branding, because I talked about that earlier, back here in Matrix, if you go to your name and you go into settings right here, name and settings in Matrix. I know I'm bouncing around because I'm trying to show you a bunch of stuff at once. You have my information. Now, I can almost guarantee like 90% of you already have this set up, but name and settings and my information here. And this is where you set up like your information, your header, footer, you picked a banner forever ago. But if you look over here to the right, because some of you that have maybe been in the industry a long time, you might want to just double check to make sure your one home branding is set up. This is where I had that branding. Remember how my picture showed up? The first thing they saw was my smiling face. Get my picture in there. I can link out to my social media if I want to, and then all the branding is set up for me right there. Okay. All right. I got all that stuff, and I can link out and put all these other things in there. So make sure you set all that stuff up. Okay. All right. Can I share the link on my signature so customers can click on the link? You should be able to put links in your email signature. Yes. I think that's what you were going for. Can you link the apps in Matrix? Downloaded prospects here, same logo in this training. You can't, the only app we're working with is going to be the MLS Touch app. But remember, and some of you have done this already, when you're looking at your products here, if you do want to bookmark something like prospects for easy access, if you want to pin it, it's very easy. You just go down to the one you want, whichever one it is, click on the three little dots here and pin it. And then it'll be in your shortcuts right up here at the pinned favorites. Or if you're looking at your screen, a smaller screen like this, it might be under your menu option right here or pinned favorites right there. So if you want to bookmark specific products, you can definitely do that here when you log in. Okay. All right. Lead generation here. So we're going to move on here to another thing. You got your brand and share. So I'm going to bring this back up. Now I'm going to show the MLS client version here. The MLS client app is not something that you are going to just send your customers here, send your buyers and say, hey, go to the App Store and install the MLS client app. You don't want to do that. Okay. Please do not do that. Because if they just go in and they install the MLS client from scratch, they're not going to be tied to a specific agent. So you don't want them in there. You want to make sure that they install the app based on you sharing it with them. We're going to do that from the MLS Touch app right here. Okay. So we talked about the brand and share. We talked about the color scheme and all that stuff and setting up the brand. But now you've got a button down here after you get that set up that is called Share My App. And this is where we can share my branded app with them. So I'll go ahead and do that. So after you get your branding in here, Share My App. And this right here is going to show a special link here. This MLS-client.com/whatever your code is. Here's the thing a lot of people miss here. You can text this to somebody if you want to. You can email this to somebody if you want to. Or you can take this link and put this link anywhere. You could put this on your website. You could share this via your social media. You could put this into your email signature. Okay. Pretty cool here. Now, you may be actively sharing this app out with one of your existing customers, or maybe you're sharing it out with somebody you don't know, right? Maybe you share it out there and somebody just clicks on the link like, oh, cool, I want to install this. And you want to bring them into your list here. Maybe, capture that lead. So you can share that out if you want to. All right. So they click on the link and they will be taken here to download the app on their respective app store. Okay. Google Play Store, App Store, whatever it is right there. Okay. Pretty straightforward. I would imagine everybody in here has installed an app before. Okay. All right. Everybody good with that? All right. Good stuff. Okay. So you can share it here. Now, when they go in, they're going to put that code in there. That code is going to lock them into you, which means they're only going to see you no matter what properties they're looking at, which is really, really cool there. Okay. Now, they will put in their basic information here. This is just the branded information here. It captures their information, first name, last name, email address, phone number. They can do that if they want to. Branded for you, right? And here is what they get. And I kind of previewed this up earlier a little bit. This is their version. They get a couple more buttons here, but everything they do ties back to you. You're the only agent they're ever going to see here. I know I've said it like 10 times, but I want to make sure that burns into your brain. You're the only point of contact here, okay? So what happens though, if this is somebody that you share the link out to, or you put this on your social media, your website, your email signature, what happens if you share this out and somebody just clicks on it and you have no idea who they are? They are a brand new lead. What happens here, right? You share this out. So this would pop up in your MLS Touch app, like a notification. You know how do you get notifications through your apps? They're called push notifications. So, you know, when you get your Amazon package delivered or when you get a bank statement or something like that, it pushes out a notification through the app. This would allow you to see that somebody has gone in and they have filled that out here. Pretty cool. Now, new leads would show up in prospects as well under that, and you can accept them as a lead if you want to. Let me show you that here in the MLS Touch app. Okay. The code comes from when you share the app. So when you go and you share the app, let me back up a couple steps. When you go to brand and share the app, once you share it, that's where the code comes from. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but back here, this is where that code comes from. So I want to make sure we're all good, Trisha. Okay. Yep. Brand share. Thank you, John, for catching them up. Appreciate that. Yep. It's all worked together. Yeah. The code is actually baked in when you share the app right there. Pretty cool. All right. Let's get back here. I feel like I'm running out of time. Okay. I only got 15 minutes left. Okay. All right. So you get that notification right here. All right, so they go in, they put that in there. They're going to need that code, and then they would come in. Remember when I clicked on leads and I didn't have anybody in there earlier? I was just looking at the context. They would come in here. Remember, connective tissue. How do these things talk to each other? Well, when you open up your leads now, this person would come in as like a generic contact, and you can accept them, and this would add them into your list, which would go to Matrix, which would go to prospects, right? Pretty cool. So not only can you meet some random person out in the woods and put them in your list, some random person might be browsing the internet out in the middle of the woods, come across your link, they tap on it, they put in their information, boom, you now have a new lead to work with, okay? Pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this in here, and you can add them in here. You also have the ability to go in and set up market reports through prospects here. So we're going to very quickly do this. Now, there is a limit on this, so you're not going to use this for everybody. But if you wanted to generate a market report and just share it out, or you wanted to tie this to a specific person, maybe you've got somebody that's interested in selling their home, they want to know what's going on in the market, that kind of thing, you can also set this up here through prospects. All right. So we're kind of in the home stretch, everybody. So this is where it all comes together. So we go in here with prospects here. Let me get back here into Matrix. Too many windows open. There we go. Oh, don't want that one. Not you. All right, there we go. So here under prospects here, if you look here to the left, you'll see market reports, okay? Once again, you don't have to follow along with me. You'll learn more about this in the full prospects class. Hopefully we've loaded you up with classes to take. We'll show those at the end. When you open up that little hamburger menu here in prospects, you'll see market report. And this is where you can go in and set one up. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on add here because you got to put in some criteria. Now there is a limit of 10. You can only have 10 of these going. So I'm going to click on add here. And I could go in, I could set this up via email. I could tie this to one of my contacts if I want to. We'll go in here, Billy Buyer. Okay, I'm going to select that person. And then at this point, I could see their information if I want to. And I click on next. Then this is going to take me to where I configure this market report. Like, what area am I searching in here? How often do I want this to be sent to them? Where am I searching? Okay, maybe I want a certain price range. Maybe I want something from 100 to 300,000, certain types of properties if I want to, okay? This is also, I'm gonna go ahead and click on preview just so we can kind of see it. And this is something right here where I could go into a pretty neat report. And I have my branding on there. I could see what's going on in the area, and I could send this out to somebody if I want to right here. All right. And the information request to capture, if you put this link out there, somebody could go in and put their information, and this would then be sent to you right here with the market reports, right? Prospect CRM is included with your subscription, but the market reports, you can only set up 10 of these right here. So just keep that in mind. Okay, pretty neat. All right. And the agent notifications, I think I talked about this a little bit earlier. Remember, how can you get notified here to make sure you're getting all the notifications? How can you set this up? Well, remember, we talked about portal notifications and Matrix. A lot of you hadn't seen that before. When you go into your name and you go into your settings and you want to set up those triggers for how you want to get notified when your customers are doing certain things. So you can go in there, set that up here. You can see the history. You can go into the contacts here. With the MLS Touch in the settings there, I believe this is turned on by default, but you can set up those push notifications. So those new leads that come in, those favorites, those notes, those things from the app to the app, you can go ahead and do that. And then in the prospects, you're going to see this in the leads icon on the left-hand column. And these can be viewed from the leads page inside of the prospect system right here. Right now, the limit's on 10. And we actually just confirmed that the other day, so I'm not really sure about that. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's 10. It's 10 going at a time. That's actually a better clarification. How can you sign for MLS Client? Alona, if you want to do that, set yourself up like a customer and then share the app with yourself through the agent version. Okay, I'm gonna try to knock out some of these questions. So 10 per, it's actually 10 simultaneously right here. Okay, all right. MLS Touch on more. The market report does update. Yeah, it is a dynamic report, Sharon. Yes, it is 10 total market reports at a time. If you hit 10, it's not going to let you generate any more until you delete one. Okay, so that should be the clarification there. All right, get some of those off the list. And Denise is answering the other questions. Yeah, I know it doesn't really spell it out for you, but we actually just found that out the other day, right? Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that you have all these things going in all these different connected systems to maximize those notifications here, okay? All right, notification setup here. So just kind of going through real quick. MLS Touch here. Inside the MLS Touch app here, I'll go ahead and bring this up. I know my phone's lagging a little bit, but let me see if I can get to it. So what you're going to want to do on the mobile app here is you're going to go down to more. Remember, here's the settings right here, more in the app. And then what you're looking for is going to be the settings, right? So it's taking a little bit of a delay here. But when you open up the hamburger menu here inside of the app, you'll see settings. Come on now. Come on. And then there's a setting for notifications. Of course, it's gonna hang here right at the end of class. But let's see. Go in there. Settings. All right. So I'll talk around it. It's pretty easy. When you get in there, here under more in the settings, there's a notifications option. Make sure you got those push notifications turned on right there. Okay. All right. Moving on over here as we wrap this thing up, baby. All right, resources. So we have the course notes. Now, somebody in here is going to go in and they're going to post the course notes here in the chat. And again, remember, we are going to be working on that recording for you. So keep an eye out for that. Well, basically what we do is we take the nicest webinar we do, that's the cleanest and everything works properly, and then we'll clean that up and we'll put that out. So just look for that in the next week or so. And we have all kinds of other classes here available for you. Okay. All right. So let me just verify here a couple things about the attendance, and then we'll talk about the classes. So remember, for the badge, you cannot miss more than 15 minutes of the class. Webinar software does keep track of when you join, when you disconnect here. We will process the attendance within 2 business days. Keep in mind, I'll probably do it tomorrow just to get my stuff clear before the weekend. And then you will get an email with instructions on how to go and get your badge here. Okay. All right. Okay, one more thing before we head goodbye here is before I say goodbye is I want to show you where the additional classes are because some people said that they haven't taken some of the other classes yet. So just remember here, when you log into Stellar Central, if you go into products and services here, remember all the MLS education's included in your subscription. If you go here, products and services, we have an education section, or scroll down to the bottom. And then we have a class sign up right here. And a lot of the classes that we teach live, we have available on demand in our Vimeo showcases or playlists right here. But let's see what we got coming up here. Stellar class sign up. So I'll click on the owl. How many of you in here have taken another Stellar MLS class before besides your required training? Let me know in the chat. How many of you have gone in? The badges are good so you can show people that you're amazing. Yeah, look at all you, everybody taking advantage of the education. This is where you learn all the good stuff, right? So class name, here's what we've got. We got more connected classes. We've got our MLS, where are you? We've got our classes, MLS Lead Gen right here, my favorite class to teach. And let's see what we got coming on here. We got Zoom. We got October 4th. The amazing Denise DiCaprio is going to be teaching that right here. And then we got a couple other classes that we're doing here in some other live situations. And then we will be refreshing our schedule calendar for like November and all that. So we will have other instances of this class that you can take right there. We also talked about the, what else did we talk about here? So the MLS Touch app, we have that class coming up as well. So that one right here, looks like we've got that one coming up. I'm teaching that class on October 6th. So if you want to take that class, I will walk you through the entire app if you want to, the 1 hour. We will be a little bit of review with this class. We'll talk about searching and all that stuff as well. So yeah, you got all these classes. So I'm going to give everybody some homework. Take all the classes. We have a lot of these in English or Spanish. You can go in and take advantage of the education here. Now, remember, Stellar doesn't do any CE stuff, but these classes will help you not only in your business, but to also maximize your subscription to the Stellar MLS, because we want to make sure that you feel like you're getting value out of this. Okay? All right. That's a lot of me talking. And that was the first time I taught that class. So I'm going to turn my camera on here. And how did we do? I thought it went pretty well, right? I was really nervous. I always get really nervous when I teach a new class. But the thing is this class takes portions of other classes and it talks about how they're connected. So I knew the little bits. It was just how to connect it here. And yeah. So thank you all so much for your time. I appreciate everybody. I know this is a little bit late because normally we don't teach this late, but thank you for taking some time out of your day to learn more about what you already have access to. Here is the support information. If you ever have any questions or hit any snags, please reach out to the support. They're available 8 to 6:30, Monday through Friday, and 8 to 6 on Saturday. And email them in case you have any questions. And thank you once again for your time. Thank you to everybody that backed me up today. I know you were answering a lot of questions, and I try to make it fun and positive, and a lot of this stuff you already knew. That's the thing I want you to understand. You knew a lot of this. Now we're just talking about how these things are connected. Okay? Awesome. All right. I'm exhausted. So I'm going to be done for the day, and we're all going to Waffle House. So thank you all for your time. I appreciate all of you. And I think we're all caught up in the Q&A. So I'm going to kick you all out here in a moment. Yeah, looks like we're good. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody that backed me up here. And I will see you again in another class. And look out for that email tomorrow. Remember, there will be an email survey. Please take the survey. When we process the attendance, there's a link to a survey. If you have any feedback about the class, I know it's a lot of stuff. I know. Leave feedback on the material. If you have any feedback about me as an instructor, put my name in there. Say John's weird. John has weird tasty music, and that's going to be it. So, all right, I'm going to turn this thing off. Everybody, thank you so much. Have a great night, and please use all this stuff to help you in your business. Okay. Bye, everybody.